There's a level beyond growth, a level where creators stop chasing the algorithm and start influencing it, where their channels don't just perform well occasionally, but begin to command attention consistently. And reaching that level isn't about luck, trends, or even raw effort. It's about authority. Not the loud, obvious kind, but the quiet, undeniable kind that makes your channel feel like a destination rather than an option. And at the core of that transformation, once again, lies something deceptively simple: the About section. Because authority on YouTube isn't declared, it's perceived, and perception is built through patterns. The way you communicate, the way you position yourself, the way your channel feels as a whole. All of it contributes to whether someone sees you as just another creator or as someone worth following long term. And your About section is one of the first places where this perception begins to take shape. Think about it. When a viewer lands on your channel after watching a strong video, they're in a state of heightened interest. They're not just curious, they're evaluating potential. Is this channel consistently this good? Is this someone I should follow? And in that moment, your About section becomes the deciding factor. It either confirms their interest or quietly weakens it. This is where master-level positioning comes into play. You're no longer just explaining what you do, you're defining how you should be seen. Are you a source of quick content or deep insight, surface-level tips or meaningful breakdowns, entertainment or transformation? The way you frame your About section answers these questions without directly stating them. Another critical layer is perceived consistency. Viewers don't subscribe based on one good experience, they subscribe based on the belief that the experience will repeat. Your About section strengthens that belief by clearly outlining what your channel delivers over time. It turns a single impression into a predictable pattern. And then comes psychological dominance, not in a manipulative sense, but in a clarity-driven sense. When your message is so clear, so aligned, and so confident that there's no room for doubt, you naturally stand out. Not because you're louder, but because you're sharper, and sharpness cuts through noise faster than volume ever can. There's also an element of inevitability that begins to form at this stage. When everything about your channel, from content to communication, is aligned, growth stops feeling uncertain. It starts to feel like a process that, given enough time, will produce results. Your About section contributes to this by reinforcing identity and direction at every point of contact. But reaching this level requires eliminating weakness, not just in content, but in messaging, vague phrases, unclear positioning, inconsistent tone. These small issues accumulate and weaken perception over time. Your About section is where you remove those weaknesses and replace them with precision. Another overlooked factor is audience qualification. Not every viewer is meant to stay, and that's not a problem. It's a strategy. Your About section should naturally attract the right audience while filtering out the wrong one. Because the strength of your channel is not determined by how many people watch once, but by how many people stay and engage repeatedly. There's also the long-term impact of authority. When your channel is clearly positioned and consistently communicated, it begins to build recognition. Viewers start to associate your name with a specific type of value. And once that association is formed, growth becomes easier. Not because you're doing less, but because your identity is doing more of the work for you. And then there's the shift in mindset. From creator to strategist, you stop thinking only about what to upload next and start thinking about how every part of your channel contributes to your overall positioning. Your About section becomes a key piece of that strategy, something you refine, optimize, and align with your evolving goals. Finally, there's the realization that authority is not built in moments, it's built in consistency. Small, aligned actions repeated over time, clear communication maintained across every interaction. And your About section, though static in appearance, plays a dynamic role in this process by continuously reinforcing who you are and why you matter. Because in the end, the creators who reach the highest levels are not just the most talented or the most consistent, they are the most clear. Clear in their message, clear in their positioning, and clear in their value. And when your About section reflects that level of clarity with precision and intent, your channel stops competing for attention and starts attracting it naturally, consistently, and powerfully enough to sustain long-term growth. If you want, I can continue. Part 10. Final elite layer, legacy building, brand authority, and unstoppable channel identity. In the same cinematic style.